Uh, Welcome class. I welcome you to this second practical on from the subject design of mechanical drives, and I will be studying design of bearings here. So you have two types of bearings as per your syllabus. Here, for the sake of practical purpose, we will be discussing the design process of one of it. So the two design processes that you will be studying in your theory are the design process of ball bearing first, anti-friction bearing as we call it. Secondly, you'll be also studying um, design process of journal bearings. So here, for the sake of practical, we'll be taking an example of ball bearings or anti-friction bearing as they call it. So let us start with what are the functions a bearing. Uh, what are the functions done by a bearing? So as is visible on your screen, the main function is to एक shaft जो होता है, that shaft does the work of transmitting power from one end to the other. Now, for doing so, it has to be very stable. It has to be firm where it is mounted. It should rotate freely without friction. So, to accomplish that particular purpose, we use bearing. I'm sure you all know it. So, basic categories involve ball bearing or rolling contact bearing, and the other is like you can see on screen. One is rolling contact or anti-friction bearing, and the other is journal bearing. Right now, under rolling friction type of bearings, there can be single row ball bearing, then can be single row roller bearing, and so on. There can be thrust bearing, there can be needle bearing, and so on. Coming to the design process, here in numerical, you are given load cycles for one rotation of shaft. What are the loads it undergoes, and for how much rotation, or for how much percentage of a single rotation it undergoes that load cycle. This data is definitely always given to you people, right? So let me read it out for you. The design procedure consists of selecting proper type of size of a bearing which can be fitted on a given shaft. Now, either they will give you shaft diameter directly, or they will ask you to calculate the value of shaft diameter. Like we discussed in the last practical, shaft diameter can be calculated with the help of ASME code. That is not that you already have studied. So, and you have to design the shaft and bearing in such a way that it should endure given load and for the specified life with the specified reliability. Now, the bearing life is given by L10 value, which I'll be covering in the theory lectures. And reliability is something, let us say if I say bearings are 50% reliable, that means out of the total bearings I buy, the minimum 50% of the bearing will be there, will be working till the end of its life. And that is something we call it as reliability. We will study more about it in the lecture. But for now, or by the time you see this video, maybe we would already have covered this topic in the theory lectures, right? So the bearing, what we are designing, can be subjected to either combination of loads, or it can be a single pure load. Like it can be only radial load, it can be only axial load, or it may be combination of these two, right? It can be constant, or it may vary as per in a cyclic manner, right? So for selecting a bearing with cyclic load, that is something that we are studying here. First of all, since like I said, a bearing goes through various load cycles. So for designing purpose, we find out mean load, and that mean load given by F suffix M can be given by this formula. Here F1 is the load, T1 is the time for which that load is acting, F2 is the load, T2 is the time for which that load is acting, and so on. It is divided by total amount of time to the power 1 by 3. Or if it is not given in terms of time, it can be given in terms of RPM. So this is F1 load acts for N1 RPMs, F2 load acts for N2 RPM, and in the denominator you have a summation of total RPMs. Right? So likewise, you will be in a position to find out mean value of load. Now, if it is a single load, fine. If not, you will have to find out mean value of radial load, mean value of axial load, and then you can combine them to find out mean load value, right? So, like you can read at the bottom, F1, F2 are the loads acting for T1, T2, unit time, or N1, N2 revolution. When we calculate mean loads, these loads can be considered as constant loads. See, a bearing goes through variable loads, but we cannot design a bearing for variable loads. We have to find out mean value of loads, and there, once we find out mean value of loads, we can consider them as constant load, and we can follow with the design procedure, right? After you find out mean load, you find out equivalent radial load as per table number 13-13. So I have opened that table for you in the PDF that you can see on your left. So here, equivalent load can be given as Fe is equal to X into Fr plus Y into Fa, where Fr is mean radial load, Fa is mean axial load. X and Y are constant. For this, you have to refer table 13-14. Let me open that table for you. So this X and Y factor selection depends on type of bearing. If it is a deep groove ball bearing, that is something you have to decide. Like if it is given in the numerical, fine. If not, almost all the times we go for deep groove ball bearing. Here E is the value of, let me just go through it once again. E is something that will be given to you in the numerical. So if this ratio of mean axial load divided by mean radial load is less than equal to E, you select this X and Y value. If it is greater than this value of E, you select X and Y value as per the table. So from this table number 13-13, you will find out the value of X and Y. You will put those values in this equation to Fe is equal to X into Fr plus Y into Fa in bracket, Ks, Ko, Kp, Kr. These are all constants which we have to select from table number 13-15. Let us go to table number 13-15. Here Ko is oscillation factor that has to be selected from these values depending on the condition mentioned in the table. Kp is preloading factor. Again, if it is a non-preloaded bearing, you have to select value as 1. If it is a preloaded bearing, that will be given to you in the numerical. If it is not given in the numerical, you select the value of factor as 1 directly, if it is not given in the numerical. But if it is given, it is specifically mentioned that it is a preloaded bearing, then you have to select the value of Kp as 1.05 to 1.2. It is up to you to decide which factor to consider, which constant to consider. Kr stands for rotational factor. Rotational factor may be in condition, either they will be given or you will have to assume. If it is not given, it is suggested that you take 1 as factor. And then last is service factor, that is Ks. This is usually given in the numerical. This is called a service factor. This tells us how, in what environment the bearings are working. So if the bearings are subjected to uniform and steady load, and if you are designing ball bearings, you will select as 1. If it is a light shock load, you will go for 1.5. It is a moderate shock load, you will go for 2. If it is a heavy shock load, you will go for 2.5. Similarly, you also have to select reliability factor denoted by Kref, REF. So here you can select any reliability, whatever you like. You can select 90% reliability, there your Kref will be 1. You can select 80% reliability, there your Kref will be 2, and so on. Now, if this is given in the numerical, let's see what I'm saying is, if it is given in the numerical, you have to take that particular value. If it is not given, there you are free to choose whatever your value you like from the table. See, this data book will be with you. This table clearly tells us formula for rolling element bearing. So you will have the formula with you. You don't have to remember the formula. So You don't need to worry much about the formula here. You don't need to worry much about what factors you are going to select. Only thing is you should know what are the things you have to do. अगर न्यूमेरिकल आपके सामने है और अगर आपको इस टेबल पे पहुंचना है यही नहीं पता तो you will not be in a position to solve this, right? So step number 2 says if the life of the bearing is specified, if the life of the bearing is specified मतलब अगर न्यूमेरिकल में वो given है तो आपको required specific dynamic capacity जो है C वो टेबल नंबर 13-13 के हिसाब से सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? नाउ वेयर इज जस्ट देखो यहाँ पे लाइफ ऑफ बियरिंग दिया हुआ है, लाइफ ऑफ बियरिंग इज गिवन इन मिलियन रिवॉल्यूशंस। नाउ इफ लाइफ ऑफ बियरिंग, कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि बियरिंग का आरपीएम सपोज 1000 आरपीएम है और बियरिंग एक दिन में 8 घंटा चलती है और उसको वैसे 1 महीने तक चलाना है, तो आपको उसकी लाइफ मिलियन रिवॉल्यूशंस में पहले कैलकुलेट करनी पड़ती है। अगर वो 1 मिनट में 1000 बार घूम रही है तो 1 घंटे में कितना घूमेगी, 1 घंटे में उतना घूम रही है तो 8 घंटे में कितना घूमेगी और फिर 1 महीने में कितना घूमेगी, कितने रिवॉल्यूशंस वो लेगी टोटल, एंड दैट विल बी गिवन बाय एल। दिस सी हियर इज योर dynamic load carrying capacity of the bearing, right? So from this formula, serial number 3, you will be calculating dynamic load carrying capacity. This small n that you see is equal to 3 for ball bearing that we are designing. If at all you are going for roller bearing, you have to select this 10/3, right? This Fe is equivalent load that we calculated in step number 1. So likewise, Kref is something you select from this table number 13-15. From here, you will get the value of C. Now, to finalize the bearing number, you should know 2 values. First, you should know dynamic load carrying capacity of the bearing. Secondly, you should know the shaft diameter on which you are going to mount this shaft diameter which you are going to mount on these bearings. So this ball bearing in particular, anti-friction bearing, rolling contact bearing is specified by a 4-digit number that will be seen in step number 3. So in step number 2, we calculate dynamic load carrying capacity of the bearing, and in step number 3, when the shaft side is specified, select the proper series of bearing which has a C greater than the calculated C as per table 13-11. Now let me open table number 13-11 for you, 13-21 for you. Okay, so here see, let me explain the table for you. पहला कॉलम है सीरियल नंबर है, दूसरा कॉलम है बोर का। बोर मतलब ये शाफ्ट डायमीटर होगा, बोर मतलब शाफ्ट डायमीटर होगा। अभी अपन डीप ग्रूव बॉल बेयरिंग का एग्जांपल ले रहे हैं, तो डीप ग्रूव बॉल बेयरिंग में अपने को सी की वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करनी है। लेट अस से अपना सी का वैल्यू 81,500 आया, अपना सी का वैल्यू लेट अस से 81,500 आया, तो मैं 81,500 सिलेक्ट देखूंगा, कहाँ पे है, यहाँ पे है। 81,500 मिल गया मुझे, तो डीप ग्रूव बॉल बेयरिंग मिल गया, 81,500 मिल गया। तो 81,500 का मैं सबसे पहले ये चेक करूंगा कि अपना शाफ्ट डायमीटर जो गिवन है या फिर जो कैलकुलेटेड है वो इतना ही है क्या। देखो बोर वैल्यू क्या है 81,500 के हिसाब से, शाफ्ट डायमीटर शुड बी 70 mm बराबर। तो शाफ्ट डायमीटर अगर 70 है तो आपको आप 81,500, तो ये दो चीजें अपने को मैच करनी है, एक तो शाफ्ट डायमीटर और दूसरा आपका वैल्यू ऑफ सी। लेटस से कि आपका शाफ्ट डायमीटर 80 है, लेटस से आपका शाफ्ट डायमीटर 80 है। अब 80 वाले कॉलम में 81,500 तो है नहीं, तो फिर हम लोग 81,500 के हायर वैल्यू कौन सी है 96,500। तो अगर शाफ्ट डायमीटर मेरा 80 आ रहा है तो मैं 96,500 सिलेक्ट करूंगा, राइट। तो आपका जो सी का वैल्यू आप चूज कर रहे हो टेबल में, इट शुड आइदर बी इक्वल और ग्रेटर देन द वैल्यू दैट यू कैलकुलेटेड, राइट। तो आप देख रहे हो कि 80 डायमीटर के लिए अपने को ये, अब इसका सीरीज कौन सा है 03। तो जो 4 डिजिट है जिससे हम लोग बेरिंग को स्पेसिफाई करने वाले हैं, उसके पहले 2 डिजिट तो फिक्स हो गए, कौन से 03, कौन से पहले 2 डिजिट कौन से फिक्स हो गए 03, और आखिरी के 2 डिजिट हम कैसे फॉलो करेंगे। देखो अपना 80 डायमीटर था, उसके सामने कौन सा नंबर है 16, तो अपना बेरिंग नंबर हो जाएगा 0316 फॉर द वैल्यू ऑफ सी इक्वल टू 81,500। तो 81,500 से अपन 96,500 लिया हायर वैल्यू, क्योंकि अपना शाफ्ट डायमीटर 80 था। तो 81,500 या फिर 96,500 के हिसाब से अपना शुरुआत के 2 डिजिट्स हो गए 03 और आखिरी के 2 डिजिट्स हो गए एज पर शाफ्ट डायमीटर दैट इज 16। तो अपना बेरिंग का नंबर जो फाइनल वैल्यू हम लोग रिपोर्ट करते हैं दैट विल बी 0316, राइट। सो लेट अस टेक अनदर एग्जांपल। लेट अस से अपना वैल्यू आया 50,000 50,000 वैल्यू आया सी का, और शाफ्ट डायमीटर अपने को गिवन है लेट अस से 60 mm शाफ्ट डायमीटर। अभी मैं देखता हूँ कि शार्प डायमीटर 60 mm कहाँ पे है, यहाँ पे, उसके सामने मैं सी का वैल्यू ढूंढता हूँ, अपना वैल्यू है 50,000, तो 40,500 सिलेक्ट कर सकते क्या? नहीं कर सकते। 64,000 कर सकते हैं क्या? कर सकते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि 50,000 तो है नहीं अपने टेबल में, लेकिन 50,000 से हायर वैल्यू है, दैट इज 64,000 वैल्यू अपने पास अवेलेबल है। तो फिर से अपना कौन सा आ जाएगा फिर सीरीज 03। सो जो शुरुआत के 2 डिजिट्स है वो आपके डायनामिक लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी को स्पेसिफाई करते हैं, और आखिरी के जो डिजिट्स है वो आपके शार्प डायमीटर को स्पेसिफाई करते हैं। तो इससे मैं ये भी बोल सकता हूँ कि लेटेस्ट से आपको मैंने एक नंबर दे दिया 0412, लेटेस्ट से मैंने आपको एक नंबर दे दिया 0412, और आपको एक क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया कि इसका डायनामिक लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी कितना है और इसका शार्प डायमीटर कितना है। तो आप देखोगे 0412 किधर है, 12 यहाँ पे है, 04 यहाँ पे है, तो आप सीधा बोलोगे सर 12 के हिसाब से शार्प डायमीटर जो है वो 60 आ रहा है, और 04 के हिसाब से और शार्प डायमीटर के हिसाब से जो डायनामिक लोड कैरिंग कैपेसिटी आ रही है वो आ रही है 85,000। दैट विल बी योर आंसर, and this is the end of practical number 2. In case of any queries, you can, like I always say, you can reach out to me. This is a general design process which can be applied to any variety of problem, and you should be in a position to solve them accordingly. Fine. In case of any query, feel free to reach me. Thank you very much.